The Galaxy A series, a family of slim devices with a sturdy metal body and sleek design. After the successful launch of the first trio of A-series phones, the Galaxy A3, A5, and A7, Samsung is now bringing a new addition to the family, the Galaxy A8. Design: slim and light, with a sturdy metal frame and the elegant style of the A-series, design is one of the strong points of the A8. Design is the strong point of the Galaxy A series. The Galaxy A8 is a well-built phone with an impressively thin body, just 5.9 mm, and a sturdy metal frame that looks great. The phone is also surprisingly lightweight for its size, weighing 5.33 ounces, 151 grams. It's important to note that despite having a 5.7 screen, the Galaxy A8 is narrower than many 5.5 phones, including the popular iPhone SE XS Plus. Side bezels measure at just 1.2 mm, and overall, the phone is just 76.8 mm, 3.02 wide. The A8 is still definitely on the tall side, towering 158 mm, 6.22, and that makes it a hard fit in tight jeans pockets, but even in regular jeans pockets such a tall device would be an uncomfortable annoyance while climbing stairs or moving more actively. Also, we noticed that it's incredibly easy for the slim and tall gadget to slip out of pockets while you're sitting, something that commonly happened to us while in the car. Switching over to buttons, there is the large, rectangular physical home key up front. It's clicky and has nice response. It's situated between two capacitive buttons that light up a bright white in the dark. The multitasking key is on the left and the back on the right. The volume keys are on the top left, while the power/lock key, on the top right, and both are very solidly constructed, with a good amount of travel and nice feedback. There is also a fingerprint scanner of the tap, rather than swipe, type built in the home key up front, but we found it to be a hit or miss. The annoying thing about it is that it won't read your fingerprint when you press your finger at a bit of an angle. This results in many failed attempts when you're trying to unlock your phone. We recommend you to register one fingerprint 2 or even 3 times every time at a slightly different angle. This way, the accuracy of reading will improve a lot. Display: the 5.7-inch Super AMOLED screen on the A8 is sufficiently sharp at 1080 x 1920 pixels, but most impressively, it's very well calibrated with great-looking colors. The Samsung Galaxy A8 features a 5.7-inch Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080 x 1920 pixels. This results in a pixel density of 386 ppi, sharp enough for most people, but do keep in mind that we are dealing with Samsung's diamond matrix pixel arrangement here, so there are less subpixels. This results in slightly jagged edges and very slight pixelization, especially noticeable in monotone color areas. Those, however, are slight niggles. What makes an even bigger difference in how we perceive a display is good color reproduction. That's exactly what you get with the Galaxy A8. It has one of the most color-accurate displays we've ever tested. The screen on the Galaxy A8 leaves something to be desired in the way of maximum brightness, as it can go as high as 339 nits, which is considerably lower than the Galaxy S6's 560 nits. Still, the screen tends to be readable outdoors, as long as the sun isn't reflecting directly in the glass. At night, minimum brightness falls down to 1 nit, which makes the screen easier on the eyes, which is an advantage for night birds. Interface and functionality. Let's put it straight, TouchWiz on the Galaxy A8 is slow. It stutters way too often and in way too many places. The Galaxy A8 features Android 5.1 Lollipop with Samsung's custom TouchWiz interface on top. TouchWiz seems to have been getting lighter recently, and its performance is improved in Samsung's best-selling devices like the Galaxy S6 and Note E5, but here, there are some seriously annoying issues. Let's put it straight, TouchWiz on the Galaxy 8 is slow. It stutters way too often and in way too many places. You would expect that an upper mid-range phone like the Galaxy 8 in 2015 would at least be able to run without a stutter in the basic apps that everyone uses on a daily basis, but that's not the case. The phone stutters in various places. It takes an annoying few moments for the keyboard to show up in messaging and browser. Pressing the multitasking button has you waiting a few moments before the cards show up, and even the dialer often takes a few extra moments to start. For all else, TouchWiz is a familiar affair with its colorful, cartoonish style and a mixture of influences. Material design floating buttons are mixed with the Tizen-inspired settings menu and notifications drawer, and all of that comes together in a weird, incoherent aesthetic. Processor and memory. The Galaxy 8 will run on either the Snapdragon 615 or Exynos 5 Octa, with 2 GB of RAM. Unlike daily tasks, it does fairly well in gaming. The Samsung Galaxy 8 comes in two versions, one that runs on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 615 and a second with the Exynos 5 Octa 5430 system chip. Both come with 2 GB of RAM. We have the Exynos version up for review. It's worth noting that the stuttery performance seems to have a lot to do with TouchWiz itself, since in even more demanding games, the Galaxy 8 handled itself well and managed to run at pleasingly smooth frame rates. We played Asphalt 8 and blocky roads. Take a look at the benchmark score below to get a better understanding of the theoretical peaks of the Exynos 5 Octa chip here. The Galaxy 8 comes in two versions, a 16 GB and a 32 GB one. We have the 32 GB version up for review and it comes with around 2-3 GB of user available space, both supporting expandable storage via a micro SD card slot. The Galaxy 8 we got to test was a dual SIM phone. The two SIM slots are separate, and the second SIM slot can serve to either read a SIM card or a micro SD card. So you have the choice of using the phone either as a single SIM phone with a micro SD card or as a dual SIM phone with no micro SD card support. Internet and connectivity. The Galaxy 8 features both a custom browser and Google's mobile Chrome. The Samsung browser is a familiar affair for everyone who's ever had contact with TouchWiz. It renders pages well and is fairly fast in loading them, but we find its interface less visually appealing and less convenient than Chrome. Chrome also supports effortless syncing across multiple devices and features a neat, fast, card-based tab switching. Scrolling around web pages on the Galaxy 8 is a bit stuttery, but not downright slow. In terms of connectivity, Galaxy 8 features 4G LTE support with limited bands depending on the market. We do recommend you check with local retailers about support for specific bands. You also have the standard dual-channel Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth 4.1, and NFC. Camera. The 16-megapixel main camera is fast and does mostly well, but it's not on par with the best camera phones we've tested. Selfies turn out good with the 5MP front snapper, while video lacks continuous autofocus. The Samsung Galaxy 8 sports a 16-megapixel rear camera with dual LED flash and a 5-megapixel front-facing shooter. Samsung also proudly says that it uses a wide aperture, f/1.9 lens for both of the cameras. Such a wide aperture allows more light in, which is of great help when you're shooting indoors or at night. We're happy to see the quick launch feature on the Galaxy 8. It debuted with the Galaxy S6, and it has quickly become a favorite. Simply double-click the home button to quickly start the camera application from any place and capture that impromptu moment. The camera is the typical Samsung app you've probably already seen, it comes with heaps of manual controls and even a dedicated manual shooting mode. The default is a clean and easy to use auto mode where there are separate buttons for video and image capture, as well as an easy to reach key to switch over to the front camera for a selfie. Selfies are captured with a very aggressive beauty mode, but luckily you can turn this down for a more realistic look. Also, you have a very wide, 120-degree view with the front camera, and this means that you can easily fit a whole group of people in the selfies. It also means that you have to get the phone very close to your face for a single person selfie. On the whole, selfies are of very decent quality, with sufficient detail and colors that look realistic for the most part. Multimedia. The Galaxy 8 is a great device for all kinds of media on the go. Its screen is well calibrated, with good-looking colors that make images and video appear great. It's also about the size. At 5.7 inches, there is a lot of screen space and you'd enjoy watching YouTube videos and reliving moments passed in the Gallery app. Speaking of it, the Gallery app is a standard Samsung affair. It puts your images on a timeline, and you can zoom in and out to navigate around quicker. You have some basic editing options on board, and you can also download the Samsung photo editor for slightly trickier tweaks. Battery life. Battery life is very good and we get around a day and a half in real life, but recharge times are slow. Its slim size dictates some limitations in the battery pack size, but nonetheless, the Galaxy 8 features a fairly average sized for its form factor 3050 mAh cell. Hidden behind the non-removable back cover, the battery cannot be swapped, so it's even more important for the phone to do well in terms of battery longevity. Official Galaxy 8 battery standby time stands at the below average 12.7 days, 304 hours, but in order to fully understand the capabilities of its battery, we had to test it ourselves. Our custom battery test is performed with the display calibrated at 200 nits. Then, we run a custom script specifically made to simulate typical smartphone use and loads. Conclusion. With a full retail price of some $500, the Galaxy 8 is a bit cheaper than most high-end phones, but not much cheaper. It remains in that top tier of devices, and as such expectations for it are high. On a positive note, the Galaxy 8 does deliver in terms of looks. It's impressively slim and light, with a narrow side bezels that make it fairly comfortable to use despite its large, 5.7 display. It's still a big phone that does not fit well in tight jeans pockets. And the screen is good as well. It has very accurate and pleasing colors in basic screen mode, although its maximum brightness leaves something to be desired. Battery life is also not too shabby, and the phone will last you easily a day, and most likely, a day and a half. With that, most of the good things are over. The Galaxy 8 feels slow. We don't know whether we should blame TouchWiz or the Exynos 5 Octa chip inside, but there are way too many places where the phone just stutters for a few moments before going back to normal. This is not okay for a $500 phone in this day and age. We expect a minimum of smooth performance, while the Galaxy 8 feels more stuttery than some entry-level phones that we've tested recently. Then, there is the camera. It's a mixed bag. Images are mostly good, but video has no continuous autofocus or features that we've come to expect, like slow motion. We also have issues with the fingerprint scanner that rarely recognizes our fingerprint from the first time. On top of that, TouchWiz remains a bit of a mess that feels like it's undergoing an endless transformation, while features like the theme store are filled with low-quality content. With all these issues, the Galaxy 8 is a beautiful but somewhat overpriced and undercooked creation.